I plan on living forever, and you should too. Ironically, it was being diagnosed with life-threatening cancer that taught me how to think this way. And I don't mean it literally. Everybody's gonna die, and I'll explain. But first, I need to tell you what it's like to be diagnosed with cancer so you can understand a little better. Getting diagnosed with cancer is like being hit by a truck while you're sitting in your living room. You're watching your favorite show or eating dinner, and then BAM! Right through the wall. One minute, you were doing all the things you love in life, and the next minute, you're thrown into a world of hurt and uncertainty. Depending on the truck, how fast it was going, and some other variables, the initial impact can have such a wide range. People can have the worst happen, people can have no scratches, and everything in between. After the initial shock of the impact, you have to get yourself to a hospital and figure out if you can recover. Also, you're probably left wondering how a truck hit you in the safety of your own home and how it could happen to you. As you go through treatment, there's probably a wide range of things you have to do to ensure that you can live life semi-normally after this, but you're probably also dealing with some significant PTSD. The weird thing is it gets worse from there. Even if you do recover physically, this is something that has shaken your life up. And the craziest part is that now the truck just starts following you wherever you go. As you walk, it's alongside you. As you drive, it's behind you. When you're at your home, it's parked outside. You want to make sure that you're not hallucinating, so you ask someone if they see the truck too, and they go, "Oh yeah, man, that truck is definitely out to get you." Eventually, all trucks start to look like that truck. Then every car, everything starts to look like a threat. And I could keep extending the metaphor, but you see how this would be a really difficult way to live. So, what do? Eventually, you just got to turn to the truck and face it, put your middle finger up and say, "Listen, I know what you're doing, I know you're a threat, but I can't let you ruin my life. I cannot let the stress of this debilitate me every single day." So how does such a terrible situation lead to thinking you're going to live forever or planning to live forever? Well, when you have cancer, it's kind of like that hypothetical where they say, would you rather know how you die or when you die? Except you get this ambiguous smattering of both. It's the gift that keeps giving. I mean, once you're diagnosed with serious cancer, it kind of becomes a likelihood that if something is to kill you eventually, it's probably going to be cancer related. And I don't mean that in a morbid way. The point is that you don't actually want to fixate on it, but that's just being realistic. Those of us who have advanced diagnoses have to really come to terms with this and figure out how much you want it to impact your day-to-day life. And eventually, I think the goal of every cancer patient, if we're trying to get through treatment and recover and have something of a life that is our own, you're working towards not being inundated with these thoughts. But the reality is that, even people who don't have cancer are afraid of death or the thought of dying. And people do wonder about these things all the time, but they're not walking around fixating on it either. Now, obviously, separating out the trauma of cancer from, someone who hasn't gone through something this targeted at your life expectancy is a little difficult. But if that's our goal, then you have to say, okay, I'm going to revert to that. I am not going to sit here and go, man, I know cancer's probably going to get me, but when and how? So you just go on living your life. The only difference is that now you have this unsettling information that you've integrated into your life. But for me, I'm going to use it as motivation. Like I said, my plan to never die is to live each day to my fullest and try and not feel cheated, despite knowing that, I kind of understand what might take me out and there's some sort of time frame that might be diminished from my initial expectations of life. And the ways that I do that are by still acting like I'm going to live out my life until cancer comes and takes it from me. I'm still planning for retirement. I'm still developing relationships. I am still looking at ways that I can grow every day. In fact, that's a big part of why I'm making these videos. I always bring it up that I do these for my mental health, and it truly is a key component of setting goals and acting as though I have things to live for. And also, developing this community and getting all these videos out to other cancer patients is really, really reassuring to me. The feedback that I get is so similar to the process that I just described. Everyone says, yeah, it rerouted my life, but it also taught me how to live it in a more full way. So if you're going through cancer or another, tough situation, I would encourage you to at least consider this kind of framework for how you're going to live your life. I'll also shamelessly ask that you consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. The more engagement that I get, the more it helps the channel grow, and the more I get to connect with other cancer patients and their loved ones. And it's been really fulfilling. Honestly, that creates a little slice of immortality in my life, because the more I get to do this and the more impact I make, the more I'm going to feel good about the way I spend my days. So if you're still watching and you've made it through this video and you haven't liked or subbed, please do so. It would really mean a lot to me. But regardless, I appreciate you all being here for this kind of human experience that I'm sharing. We're not all going to live forever, but the ultimate goal is to make the most of our days. And despite cancer being a very, very difficult teacher, I'm going to try and keep doing that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.